So guys, this will be the second video in regards to Milo in Australia. I want to go through and I want to correct a lot of things and just show how basically Newsweek is fake news. So for example, let's start with the title. Alt-right troll Milo Yiannopoulos faces violent protests in Australia as attempts to ban him speaking in Parliament fails. And they've got a video here of where he was actually, his press conference, where he's announced he's been fired from Viper back in February. So the first thing that we have to worry, or that we have spotted that's wrong, is the fact that it says alt-right troll. Milo is not alt-right. How many times does he have to tell you people this? Look, we know you're not stupid. Right? We know he's not right. Oh, right. No one is that stupid. But at the end of the day, you call him that because you want to brand him as a racist. We know what you're doing. Give it up. It doesn't work. Alright, so obviously they got the heading wrong for a start. Secondly, they've gone through and there's the video here. And we'll go through and we'll play that for a sec. So this video is where he was actually fired from Bite Bar. They're talking about him facing violent protests in Australia. An attempt to ban him speaking in Parliament fails. Gee, I wonder if only they could have gone through and put a video up that was actually more relevant to the heading. Now, only if only that Parliament speaking was recorded, that probably would have been a good video to put up. Or maybe even a video of the left-wing protesters getting arrested for inciting violence or whatever it was that they were arrested for. That probably would have been a good relevant video to put up. But instead you had to pick a video where he got fired from his job over 12 months ago almost. Or what, 9 months, 10 months ago? So, I wonder why you picked that video. Anyway, moving along. By the way, Tom Porter, you're fake news. Milo Yiannopoulos spoke at an event in Australia's Parliament House Tuesday after a motion to ban the alt-right troll Prockerville failed. Yes, thank God it failed, because that means we still have freedom of speech in this country, you mong. The previous night, violent protesters erupted at an event Milo Yiannopoulos hosted in Melbourne, but Yiannopoulos' address to Parliament went ahead without incident, according to local media reports. Well, we know it went without... Why are you saying it went ahead without incident? We know it was... Well, the fire alarm, I think, went off, but... I think someone pulled the fire alarm, but... I don't know if it was the bell or fire alarm or what, but yeah, something went off. But at the end of the day, what do you mean it went off without incident according to local media reports? The local media was there. People, see the room? Local media. Anyway, Yiannopoulos was invited to speak at Australian Parliament in Canberra by Libertarian Senator David Leham. At the event, Yiannopoulos reportedly called on supporters to stop apologising, stop allowing the left to set terms of debates. Fight fire with fire, he said. He quoted by the Australian news network SBS. So now the SBS and Newsweek are both fake news. Yes, he did say fight fire with fire, but he also continued on with that sentence, saying that he also does not actually want people to get violent. Here's an actual clip of what he actually said.
I came to Australia as a sort of to try to implore you not to go down the path America has gone down. This sort of divisive identity politics stuff that we saw at UC Berkeley in February when I tried to speak there. Well, last night in Melbourne, I think the left showed us who they are and demonstrated that those wars are already here. The problem is conservatives and libertarians don't realize it and haven't started fighting yet. You need to start fighting, and you need to start fighting fire with fire. You need to reject identity politics, and you need to reject political correctness. And if you want to save your country and save Western civilization, you need to reject all of the tenets that the progressive left is attempting to establish in culture. So when I talk about aggression, I'm speaking about rhetoric. I don't believe in violence as a solution to problems. That's a left-wing thing. What I do think is that people who come out with baseball bats should be arrested and thrown in jail before they swing them at people, before they actually do somebody any damage. If they come down clearly with the intent to hurt people, if they're throwing rocks at the police, they should be put in jail. I mean, violent responses to ideas are unacceptable in a civilized society, except we do accept it if they're left-wing. That's not okay.
What advice would you give?
Very straightforward. Stop apologising. Stop allowing the left to set the terms of debate. Stop allowing them to tell you what words are acceptable and not, what you're allowed to laugh at when you're not, what you're allowed to talk about and discuss in Parliament and you're not. And fight fire with fire. The left doesn't fight by your rules. They're not happy to stay, writing erudite essays in magazines and be all dressed up nice and never say the C word. They will fight dirty. They will fight low. They will beat you in the street if they can. We saw it last night. The facts are inescapable. If the left can't persuade, it will turn to violence. It's not suggesting that you should return the favour violently, but certainly in those circumstances where you have power to fight fire with fire in TV studios, in your parliament, and in the pages of your newspapers.
So you can clearly see from that clip, he is saying he doesn't want people to get violent. He doesn't want people to throw fists. In fact, he actually went through and said it about twice in the actual press conference. I believe he brought it up about twice, about not using violence and how he actually rejects violence. Why didn't you put that in? Why did you stop the sentence with fight fire with fire? After talking about stop apologising, stop allowing the left to set the terms of debate, and you're also talking about rioting. I wonder why you stopped. Oh, wow, that? Oh, yeah, I wonder now. Fake news. Yiannopoulos, currently touring Australia with his Troll Academy speaking show, has been described as one of the key figures in the white nationalist anti-establishment alt-right movement. The alt-right hate him. Read his book, you know that for a fact. He has a whole chapter on why the alt-right hate him, people. Anyway, white nationalist. How is he a white nationalist? What, because he doesn't want Islam to overtake his country? He has a black boyfriend, kind of failing at wanting a white nationalist state, isn't he? Anyway, Yiannopoulos' scheduled appearance at the event in Australia's Parliament building had generated controversy, with the left-wing Greens Party unsuccessfully calling him to be banned from the venue for what they described as racist, sexist and abusive behaviour. On Monday night, protesters outside a supposedly secret venue where Yiannopoulos was scheduled to speak in Melbourne turned violent as left-wing demonstrators clashed with far-right supporters of the former Breitbart editor and police. Yeah, they got violent, the left. At least you reported that part accurately. And there was further unrest on Tuesday night as 7 were arrested outside a venue where Yiannopoulos was scheduled to speak in Sydney after his appearance in Parliament, according to reports in local media. Cool. So the 7 that were arrested, how many of them were Milo supporters and how many of them were protesting Milo? I'll wait here while you go and get those facts. Okay? Morons. Yiannopoulos blamed the Palatine babies of the left for the clash on Monday. Were they on the left? It was the left showing up, being violent to stop freedom of speech. That was fairly accurate, actually, wasn't it? The left showed up, being violent, to try and shut down a freedom of speech, right? That's accurate. So, yeah. The left really show us who they are. They show us they are Palatine babies. a various defender of US President Donald Trump during the 2016 presidential election, and even still to this day, actually. Yiannopoulos was disbanded from... Oh, here we go. Now we're getting into the smear side of things. Yiannopoulos was dismissed from Breitbart in February after comments in which he seemed to condone pedophilia. Okay, so he seemed to condone? Did he condone pedophilia? Because you said he seemed to condone. What, you're still not sure? 10 months later, 9 months, whatever months later, you're still not sure if he condoned it or not? You still need to go and check on that? Interesting. Although his claims oppose racism and white supremacists, emails linked to BuzzFeed in October, because they're the beacon of truth, showed him to have been linked with prominent white nationalists while at Breitbart. Okay, so I'm not sure what they're actually going on about there. I'm presuming that has something to do with the time that he actually went and spent time with the alt-right to report on them, and that's what he was actually doing. He basically was embedded with them like a journalist is in a war, and basically went and spent a couple of weeks with the alt-right so he could report on them and do a story on them. Did you read the story? Obviously not, because it was far from flattering. In fact, this story is actually quite damning of the alt-right. By the way, he claims to oppose racism and white supremacy. He has a black boyfriend. He's gay. He's Jewish. Like, how much self-loathing do you think this guy has? This is insane. It really is. That I expected more from Australian media. I shouldn't have. I really shouldn't have. But let's keep going. There have been clashes between anti-racism protesters and Yiannopoulos supporters on campuses where he's been scheduled to speak in the US. He was banned from Twitter in 2016 for organizing the harassment of the African-American actor Leslie Jones, which was complete bullshit. In fact, he actually addressed this in the press conference. I'll tell you what, why don't I play it and you can hear it from his own mouth. Maybe you'll listen to it.
You got, apparently, I'm told, banned from Twitter, and I'm wondering, tell us why and what you think of that.
Well, I am probably the most misreported on person in the world, with the exception maybe of the American president. You will probably have heard that I support pedophilia when actually I'm a victim of it, and was talking loosely, admittedly loosely, about my own experiences. You will have heard that I'm a neo-Nazi and a white supremacist. I'm a really bad one. I just married a black guy. You will have heard that I got banned from Twitter for inciting a racist hate campaign against the actress Leslie Jones. What you won't hear is that I wrote a review of Ghostbusters defending her and saying what a shame it was that she was expected to play a sort of minstrel role in the movie, and what a pity it was that black women were forced into these stereotypical roles in movies, and wouldn't it be nice if she could have just been in the movie and been funny rather than had to do the sort of sassy black woman routine. Now, other people took that review and said mean things on Twitter, and I was blamed for it, but didn't do anything. Now, I make no apologies for making comments about her appearance. I think as a commentator, I should be allowed to comment on the appearance of other people in public life. I would ask those people who are incensed and outraged by my words, by my jokes, by my observations, by my repeating of readily establishable fact, what they plan to do if they're so angry about my words in response to the violence from the left last night in Melbourne. People throwing rocks at the police.
So guys, that's where he actually went through and he explained that as well. So guys, am I surprised by Newsweek? No, not really. I kind of expected this, to be honest. Like I say, look, at the end of the day, the whole thing is a smear campaign. It doesn't work anymore. Give up. You can sit there and you can write as many articles about him being racist and anti-Semitic as you want. It doesn't work. The truth, people know he's not. All you're doing is you're damaging your own credibility by writing these hit pieces. And I'd like to know who ordered this hit piece. Was this something that Tom actually wrote on his own? Or was this come down from above? I would like to know that. But guys, let me know what your thoughts about this article are in the comment section below. If this video has been helpful, please smash a like. If you're new to the channel, welcome and subscribe. And apart from that, guys, I'll see you in the next demonetized video from YouTube.